So, never store your seed phrase online. So there was about £60,000 worth of Bitcoin. So if we were to equate that to the decimal value, basically half a Bitcoin, which, you know, if anyone's hearing this, that's a lot of money, you know? So I'm now sitting there with the phone, and the Bitcoin, it's so hard to explain, but it goes down in chunks. I now know to be those, so there were 4 transactions, outbound transactions that this hacker had done, and it was in those 4 chunks that it just went down to 0. And then when it went to 0, it vanished off of my ledger, and I honestly cannot tell you the gut ache and the wrench feeling of seeing that go from, so that's like, and I use the word life savings, and that basically was, because that was our life for the last 6 years prior to 2022, where we'd saved some money beforehand, gone. And I said I wouldn't get upset, and it was the look on my wife's face when I sat there and I said, it's all gone. It was the look on my wife's face when she basically panicked, and then it set me off. And I'm, you know, it's hard to explain. I'm looking at it and it's just now gone. If you've got it written down in a text document, that is a weak point. Get it off, like write it down, stick it on hardware, stick it on a metal, you know, go invest in a microseed washer kit, which has been sent. Thank you, Robin, guys at the microseed team. I'm going to be doing it.
Welcome to the Bitcoin broadcast. Today we have on Bitcoin Cookie. It's very nice to meet you, man. Thank you for doing this. How are you doing today?
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. As we spoke before recording, it's lovely where you are. It's freezing cold where I am. But yeah, personally, I'm in consideration of what we're about to speak about. I'm doing okay. I've pushed through, and it's because of things like this, you know, talking about it with people and friends and family and other close friends and some randomly mental anons on X, as we've all got mad anons on X. You know, they've all dropped in and been really supportive. So sounds cryptic at the moment if you're listening in and you don't know what I'm talking about, but we're about to dive into that, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah,
very well.
We will get into, like I said before, I have not heard this story yet, so I'm excited to hear it. I'm kind of scared to hear it. I don't want anyone to be scared. It's supposed to be educational. But before we dive into that, do you mind just kind of telling us a little bit about your background, history, how you got into Bitcoin, and what you do? Feel free to divulge anything or not say, you know, things, but just give us a little background.
Thank you. It always feels like you're sort of on an interview, you know, like, welcome. You've come to apply for the job. Can you give us a little backstory? So where do I start? So I think linking it into what we're going to talk about, I work in, so I live in the UK, obviously, beautiful English accent. I have been in Bitcoin, I've been in Bitcoin seriously since the beginning of 2022. I had touched base with probably, I'll be honest, with altcoins and shitcoinery late 2021. I do development work, and I work in IT sysadmin, which is really boring, but I'm an IT man. So whenever anyone says, what do you do? I say, I do IT. And then you have to sort of explain, because everyone knows IT is computers, but what specifically? I do like system administration for a local firm. But yeah, 2021, late 21, 2022, eventually found Bitcoin, fully went in. I'm pretty sure that was the worldwide consensus of the low, and in sterling terms, I think it was about, was it 16,000? Anyway, I had money, which I had come into, won't get into that, but well, I can, but had money. And then I thought, what's the best thing to do with it after having read tons of books and had just started the journey on listening to tons of podcasts. I bought Bitcoin. So with that knowledge, I had been doing game development prior to that for probably about 5 or 6 years prior. All in all, I'm about 10 years in now, 10 years in the hole, doing games development, programming, coding and stuff like that. And I've said this before, there's many different mediums of programming, and like my focus is primarily game design. So I couldn't tell you like Python scripts and, you know, web design and stuff like that, but I know how to do game design and building games, fun stuff, you know. So
Okay.
I'm a gamer at heart. So, yeah, and that is, I hope, not too long-winded of a journey into me, and here I am. So
Awesome. But you started to get your main conviction around 2020, 2021 into Bitcoin, and that's kind of when you started to go all in. That's when it was go time.
it was go time. That was the main purchase of Bitcoin was, I'm pretty sure it was it April or May of 2022, but I'd bought some small amounts of Bitcoin earlier on in the year, but then the big purchase happened to coincide with some money coming in. I'm pretty sure it was May. Must have been May.
Yeah.
That was the
Something around
it was
there.
it was the real bottom, wasn't it? And I bought in there. So yeah,
Awesome,
and here we
man.
are. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was
I
awesome.
mean, there's nothing better than when you buy a big chunk of Bitcoin and it
Oh,
immediately goes up, and you're just like,
and it did.
oh, that felt good.
It
That
was
felt
like
good.
right down here, and then it sort of started to do. And I rode the whole thing, and obviously we're all sitting in the same boat, aren't we? On X, we're all watching the news. We're all, you know, the sentiment and everything, and it just shifted in the right, you know, up and to the right. I was just like, man. And then obviously the wife and extended family were like, you know, you sure you've done the right thing? Everyone's had that. And I, you know, I look back and it obviously it was. Yeah.
But now we're here, and
Now we're
now we got
here,
to talk about the tough thing.
and again, for I guess for people that, you know, we're not saying stuff at the moment. I'm being very sort of cryptic. Yeah. Bottom the long story short, for this moment, I'm laughing because I get nervous when I so I laugh when I get nervous, which is basically I'm sort of shielding the
Same.
the crappiness of it. Basically, I stupidly left my seed phrase online. The worst thing you could do, and I then clicked a link, downloaded some software, but I now come to believe that the link I clicked at that point was ground zero, was clicking the link, and basically lost to me a large amount of Bitcoin. Technically
Gotcha.
unrealized, but it was a large amount of Bitcoin for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, any amount of Bitcoin, I mean, unless you're talking, you know, $10-$20, you know, if you're talking 0.1 Bitcoin or above, it's pretty catastrophic to most people, especially when you consider most people don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. When you
Yeah,
lose anything above, I mean, shit, even 0.05 Bitcoin right now, that's like what, $5,000?
yeah,
It's pretty catastrophic, and it's hard to recover from. But if you don't mind, go back to the beginning of you had your Bitcoin on a hardware device. I don't even know what kind of device, you don't have to say,
that's
but
fine.
walk
I've
me
actually got it here.
through. Do you? Okay.
This,
So I want you to describe. Yeah, I have that too. Okay,
oh,
Ledger. Yeah.
yeah,
If you want to just walk me through. So how did this happen? Um, and then we'll go from there. Just like, you know,
okay.
yeah, I'll let you take the mic.
Thanks. So obviously with the development background I've basically been building a card game, the Bitcoin trading card game. That's all I'm going to say. Not here to shill it, but it does link into it. So I'm building this card game. It's built around Lightning. You know, it's a passion project. I've been doing it for about a year, and I had an account connect with me on X. So there's many levels of things we're going to go through, but yeah. So this account connected with me, completely anon. It was called Glitch Visceral or Visceral Glitch. We'll get into that because basically this person's account had been compromised.
Okay.
He or they started messaging me very nondescript, as they do. There's no pressure initially. It's like, hey, and it was like, ignore. Then there was like, and they had a blue tick as well, so they were verified. But his account was compromised, and we'll get onto it. But when your account's compromised and you as the legitimate owner are locked out, you go into some weird purgatory, and I can't explain the weird frustration because you can't DM. And obviously, you can then spin up another account, but you're still currently paying for it. You can't just like instantly cut all of the payments, all of the access. You can't access it. So anyway, this account contacted me in DMs, and they were basically sort of saying, "Do you want to jump on a podcast, Empire podcast, I think it was called?" And at first, I was just like, "Yeah, no, I do game dev. He was an artist. I was like, look, I do game dev. I don't think it doesn't match. But thank you anyway. I was polite. Then I think I got another one where he was like, oh, I'd love to speak to a more tech orientated games developer, especially if around Bitcoin. And obviously it piqued my interest. And I thought, oh, well, I suppose as we were talking before we started recording, exposure, marketing and growth are kind of the things you're always trying to do personally, but also like, especially if you've got like a thing that you're building, you want to get it out there, you want to grow it, you want to get it exposed and people to get eyes on. So I thought, well, I'll do an interview similar to this. I assumed it was going to be like this. So he sent me the link to what was in the link it said StreamYard. So and you only get like a stubby section of the URL. I mean, technically you could just copy it out, paste it in before you visit and have a look. But who's going to know? I mean, the link looked good. There's services where you can check the URLs and things like that to see if they're legit. But a lot of these services, there's so many URLs, their database might not be able to tell you if it's a legit link or not. But anyway, I digress. So there was the link in the DM. Oh, I get in like PTSD. It probably doesn't show, but PTSD, like thinking it through again. So this was on, when was this? I hope I'm not going too fast. This was about a month ago now, and it was on a Saturday early morning. I'm programming away. I've got the engine open. I'm doing what I need to do. I've got Twitter X open on this screen, code on this one. And I look at the DM and it's got and he's like, oh, I can fit you in this slot. He was like, that was the bit of the pressure. It was like, oh, I can get you in at 1 p.m. Your time. And it was like, okay, that works out. So I was trying to do the math. And then I think I'd hit a milestone in my development progress where I was elated. I was like in a good mood, and it was like Saturday morning, didn't have a lot on, and I'd hit a small milestone. I was really happy with the project, and I think I just got complacent. So if you've not seen the video I've done where I'm in the car and I'm like, it's like a therapy session with my phone, but I've never done one of those one-to-one things where you just record yourself. And in that, I'm saying like, I was really happy, and so complacency set in. I remember clicking the link. So this is like, I'm going to word for it. So I clicked the link. It opened up a browser. And it was essentially what looked like the StreamYard platform. Mm-hmm. So right now I've not logged in. I've just opened the URL. So nothing's happened at this point. Then I get a message saying you need to install the accompanying or like the companion, indigestion, the companion app, which unlocks like advanced features. I've never even seen this StreamYard thing. And again, none of my emergency responses have kicked in at this point. None of the do not click links and like, what are you, none of the weird like emergency triggers had kicked in because nothing really had happened. So then I clicked the login button at the top corner and then it linked to my Gmail account. And it was the Gmail account for the game, which is BTCG. So it logged me in. And what I now understand from the police, having looked into it, who I'm still in contact with actually, and I had an email today. He said he believes that at that point when it authenticated with my Gmail account, however he did it, he'd engineered that website. He was controlling that entire URL. So he must have been sitting there watching it all happen, like, however they do it. And essentially, when I clicked that link and logged in, he then instantly had access to my Gmail account. No notifications, no nothing. All under the radar. Whatever had been injected in and managed to take over my access or the authentication part of it, he'd managed to, I guess, step in the middle like a man in the middle attack, essentially, when I logged in. And all I remember after that, he then said, "Oh, you need to get the companion thing." So I downloaded the companion. So I'm now well in the zone. I've logged in, I've now downloaded the app, and at this point, anyone listening, if you're looking at me and you're going, "You're a stupid fucking idiot," I hear you, all right? But anyway. Oh, and don't worry, my friends have told me you're not a stupid fucking idiot. And then also, if people are watching this who've told me not to call myself that, they're going to be like,
No.
Cookie, shut up.
Yeah,
So,
dude, we've all clicked on links. We've all done
Yeah.
it. I mean, it is what it is. People click on that shit all the time. But anyway, sorry, continue.
because it's such it's a, I don't know what the phrase is, but it's an offhand thing. You just click a link. Everyone clicks links.
Yeah.
I click the link. I download this thing, and then it comes up with. So I'm on Windows. I'm not on Mac, and it comes up with the control pad, the control user thing for Windows to essentially guardrail you from installing any crap. So that pops up, and I was just thinking back. There were so many, like at that point, there were so many points where I could have just not clicked a button. Not click the link, and in hindsight, so I clicked run. It then installed or tried to install this companion app thing, and I remember it failed. It came up with an error. It just said it didn't install. But is that part of the whole thing? Throws you off, and you're like, oh, it didn't install. Okay, oh, there's a problem. Well, okay, maybe we won't be having the interview. So anyway, I tried to install it again, I think I had it, so I tried to click it again. So I've not only done it once, I've done it twice. Then in my control panel, I can see it said installer. And that at that point is the point when the penny has started to drop, and I'm now basically looking, I've got a history of IT, I should know better. I'm looking at this installer in my control panel. I'm now panicking, and I message him back and I go, dude, look, whatever I've tried to install hasn't installed properly. I've uninstalled it. Look, can we not do the interview? I think I remember putting, can we not do the interview via, some more traditional system? And this is what then he went, oh, I'll have to get back to the team. I'll come back to you. I'll get back to the team. So unless it was like a delay tactic, or he was trying to, I don't know what was going on at this point. It gets worse. Do you want me to go through the next few days?
Yeah, I do.
Of course it gets worse. I had loads of Bitcoin stolen. So this is Saturday afternoon. So then nothing happens that evening. So I've uninstalled whatever was installed, or so I thought. I think the damage was done. I think he'd already rewritten some registry entries in the back end of my computer. I think it definitely took over my Gmail account, and he was more than likely accessing my local cookies or my metadata. I'd unpacked the Pandora's box, and I'd let this hacker in. So at that point, my computer's compromised. Every other Sunday, I'll go and visit my mum, family. I don't know about you. Do you do like family things like on sort of a set day of the week, or do you have like a regular? Do you go and see your parents, or are they miles away?
My family still lives in Colorado, so it's only me and my wife here in Florida.
Yeah, so a bit of a journey. So I mean, she's not the size of the UK compared to Florida. It's minuscule, but it's a few hours sort of round trip. So I jump in the car Sunday. So Saturday, nothing happens apart from that. Still, I've not even triggered, no reflex has kicked in to be like, nail everything down, because nothing out of the ordinary seems to have happened. So then Sunday morning, wake up about 6 a.m. and I look at my phone, as we all do. I don't even think I've even got the coffee going, but I sit up, open up my phone, and I've got from history from my shitcoinery days. I've still got like a Phantom. I think I've got a Phantom wallet on there, and I've got a Coinbase wallet, hot wallet. And the wife's got a hot wallet as well. And I look in my wallet, and then there's all of these really weird looking, there must have been about 30 of them, all these smart contract initiated, like executed, that's it. I could show you, but they're all there. And I'm like, well, what's all that? And I mean, with these stupid wallets, these crappy fucking wallets, you're getting sent shit all the time. And I just wish I'd just got rid of it. So anyway, I think I must have had about £300 worth of just crap, as I call it, in there. And I don't ever, but but it was because I had like a notification at the top of the phone to say that something had gone on with my Coinbase wallet. So I opened it up, looked at it, and I'm like, oh, that's strange. I've had all of these weird transactions. Oh, and I've not got, I think I had some Ethereum in there. All gone. But what's happened is he's like rolled it all up somehow. He's like collected it all, somehow converted it all so he can basically use it as like gas, I guess. And he's used it to access my wife's Coinbase wallet. So I'm getting to the Bitcoin bit, but this bit kind of like predates that. So he's now taken everything from there. He's then gone into my wife's wallet. He's wrapped up and taken, so all in all, he's taken about £300 worth from there, from mine. He's taken about £300 worth from my wife's. So that's £600. Now, I just still not putting the dots together. I'm sounding really retarded at this point. I sit up and I'm like, have you got anything going on your phone? So she then looks, and then I start, even though it's like £600, like we said, it's a lot of money to some people, and that is a lot of money. My gut starts to turn, but like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's all it was. So this is a really long monologue.
No, you're good, man.
So, because I was on a Spaces, I think. I don't know if did you listen in on that Spaces? No, you haven't heard anything, have you? No. I went on the Bitcoin Army and I just did this. I was almost bawling my eyes out on that. So I'm beyond that now. I don't cry now.
Yeah, imagine. Okay.
And anyway, so both the wallets have been drained. I think my Phantom wallet got drained as well. And there was hardly anything in there. It was just stupid crap in it. Again, this is all just residual stuff. It's just sitting on our phones. Don't use it. And so the only thing that we did use was Ledger. The Ledger. Oh, do you know it? Yeah, strange. So, so that was Sunday morning. Then talking about family, I go and visit my mum. So I set off. I'm now not looking at my phone. I've got a lot to prepare for. So I get in the car. We drive. Obviously, I'm not looking at my phone. Obviously, drive to my mum's. We do all the stuff that I do at my mum's. She gives me a meal and food. We catch up and we just have family time. And I take my daughter with me as well. Oh, by the way, my daughter said to say, hello, everyone. My daughter said she's gonna watch this, and she said if you don't say hello from me, you're done for. And so I have said it now. Anyway, that was a weird segue.
Awesome.
That was a weird segue. So, so anyway, so we're at my mum's, and then again, I'm still not looking at my phone, and then I come home. Sundays are kind of fairly busy, so anyway, I'm still not looking at my phone. Come the evening, haven't looked. I literally have not opened the Ledger. I've almost indoctrinated myself to not look at price and not go and keep looking at the Ledger, because I knew that was where the Bitcoin was. It's almost like this sacred temple thing. I just like opening it. There's no, like, keep it where it is, forget about it, buy it, forget. So I'd almost got to that point. Monday, I go to work, still not looked. I've not even, literally up early, straight into work. Busy day. Come home. That's when the real shit happens. So I'm in the lounge, and I come in, sit down. I'm on the sofa. Then I pick my phone up. Wife comes in from the kitchen, and she's like, do you want a cup of tea? Very, very British. Yeah, I'll have a cup of tea. So I then flick the phone open. And you've got Ledger, yeah? Did you say you've got Ledger?
I have a Ledger, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I flick the app open. It takes a minute or two to load. This time It was taking a weird amount of time to load. So then the little square in the L kind of came up, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Then it appeared, and for a brief moment, everything was there. So all of the values were there. all of the Bitcoin. So there was about £60,000 worth of Bitcoin. So if we were to equate that to the decimal value, it was about 0. I'm pretty sure it was like 0. We had, so there was 0.5 or 0.6 there, and then we had some elsewhere on the ledger. The ledger was the big one. So
It's
that
about half a Bitcoin.
yeah, basically half a Bitcoin. Which, you know, if anyone's hearing this, that's a lot of money. You know.
Yeah.
So to some context around how I'd come to that. Obviously, I bought in early 2022. That was some inheritance from my dad. So I put it in there, and we've moved a few times, like physically moved home a few times. We're in our forever home now. And we've bought and sold a few properties, and then we eked out a bit of profit each time, as you can do, a bit of capital, and we put it in. Obviously not a lot, but enough to get us up to about half a Bitcoin. So I'm now sitting there with the phone, and the Bitcoin, it's so hard to explain, but it goes down in chunks. I now know to be those. So there were 4 transactions, outbound transactions that this hacker had done, and it was in those 4 chunks that it just went down to 0. And then when it went to 0, it vanished off of my ledger. And I honestly cannot tell you the gut ache and the wrench. It was the look on my wife's face when I sat there and I said, "It's all gone." It was the look on my wife's face when she basically panicked, and then it set me off. And it's hard to explain. I'm looking at it and it's just now gone. I then basically throw the phone across the living room, so it bounced off the chaise lounge, I think, and wobbled on the floor. And then the wife was like, "Tell me it isn't." She's just like, "It isn't. No." She's like, "It's not gone." I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's gone." I'm now head in hands, and like, I don't know what to do. So I had to bring someone down. If you're watching, so I think the weirdest connection that we've all got is it was just me and my wife in that room at that time. And she's like, I'm pretty sure she wanted to kill me at that point. I wanted to like crawl in a hole. And at that point, I just posted, we've just had all of our Bitcoin drained from our ledger. I don't know if I said ledger, but, and I'm trying to stay on topic. And basically, a gentleman called, an amazing gentleman, by the way. Everyone's amazing on X that we all follow, that I follow. I only follow amazing people. An amazing guy called Rick Messett. If you don't know who he is, I think he still currently works in marketing for the Bitcoin Way. He reaches out to me in a DM, and he's like, can I get in touch with you? And I'm speeding along a bit because obviously, this could be for hours. And he basically calls me, and I'm on the phone to him, and I'm literally like, I'm in my early 40s, and I'm blubbing my arse off down I'm literally like sobbing. I haven't sobbed like from the gut from like, since I was young, since I was a kid. And he's on the phone to me, and he's like, he was really good. He was really focused, and he, first time we've ever spoken, the weirdest kind of like drop in, "Hey, I'm Rick. Right, let's get to it." And he literally, he scoots me up, and he's like, "Dude, look, I've been where you are. Like, right, first things first, time is of the essence." And he's like hand holding me, and this is Monday evening, by the way. So it's about 8:30 now, if I remember rightly, because I remembered the time because I had to make a phone call. He gave me a number for a police detective in the Metropolitan Police. He was like, "Look, this is the person who helped me." So if people don't know, Rick had, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, Rick had 25 Bitcoin stolen. 25 Bitcoin. 25.
Damn.
Yeah, damn. And that was 2020, I think. The reason I think it was like, because he then ended up going to BTC Prague and standing on stage telling his story in 2022. I'm pretty sure it was 2022. So if you want to look him up, Rick Messett, BTC Prague, the unluckiest man in Bitcoin, I think he calls himself. That's like his tagline. He literally explains what happens, and he's got such a way of storytelling. He tells it in such a way that you're captivated. But yeah, 25 Bitcoin, insane.
Fuck.
So honestly, now I know that. At the time when I'm blubbing my eyes, I don't know. He's just this Brit, this guy, fellow guy. He's reached out to me. He's really trying to help me. So at that point, I'm like, I think the wife stormed off. You know, I'm still crying. I'm trying to resolve it the best way I can with my brain firing off in all directions. And bottom line, look, this is like first world problems. So anyone listening to this, I get it. It's just money, and I know there's people dying and wars and things like that, and it's little old me crying my eyes out about bloody 0.5 of a Bitcoin. But at that point, in that moment, it was bad. And
It's everything.
yeah. And like, it felt like someone had died, and it's all. And people might point the finger and cast aspersions and like, oh, shut up, get over it. But it was bad. And anyway, so he gives me this number. I phone the number, can't get through. By now it's about 9 p.m. I'm not expecting a police detective to pick the phone up just because magically I'm on the other end of the phone. But so that doesn't work out. But all the while we're talking, I think he hangs up, but then he messages me and he goes, "Cookie, you'll never believe who I've got tracking your funds." Because by now I've sent in the 4 transaction IDs, and I think we composed a brief X post that went out. And he said the best thing to do, because this is what he was telling you, the best thing to do from his experience is get the information out there as being transparent as possible. Say, yes, cocked up, this is what's happened, but here's the data, and kind of like decentralize people or aggregate everyone to like jump on the transaction. Because you know what people like? Everyone loves to be like a Miss Marple or a bloody Hercule, I can't even say his name, Poirot or whatever, and like start being detective. So we sent the data out online on X, and everyone jumped on it. Well, a few large accounts, but none larger than Keone from the Samurai Wallet development team. And I don't know if you know, but they're under the DOJ. Yeah, insane. So I only now know this. So Rick's like, I can't really say too much, but I've got someone of a stature and of a pro level, and they're literally tracking your funds. That's all well and good at that point. This is Monday night, but remember I said Sunday I'm at my mum's. What had happened is it was only until the Monday evening where it had registered and updated from the Bitcoin blockchain that I'd seen it all go out in those 4 chunks. This had already happened at 2:30 p.m. in the middle of Sunday. So really sadly, it had already gone, and it had already moved its way. There's pictures and a map, a top-down map of the blockchain and like all the wallets and all of the transport routes that it took. It went to like 8 or 9 different wallets. They were prepared. They knew exactly what they were doing. I gave them so much time to do it because I never intervened. There was moments where I could have moved my Bitcoin off of the ledger and just stuck it into Strike. Like I had a Strike account with a really small amount of Bitcoin in there. I didn't do it. And
well, we don't check our hardware wallets like often. It's not something that like you just do. I mean, it's and then you click on a link and then you're like, well, this is weird. Like, okay, I lost $300 on this hot wallet, but you're like, what the fuck? Okay, like,
yeah,
and you're not like,
I couldn't track it.
Well, life goes on.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It was the weekend. I was busy. Oh,
yeah.
Excuses. But, so go on.
My question is, so when you click the link and he had access to your Gmail, so then to get to your ledger, did you?
Yeah.
How did he open your ledger and was able to authenticate it and open it?
So, never store your seed phrase online.
Yep.
You can snip that. I had the seed phrase and everything to Ledger in a folder in my Google Drive called Family, which is even more heartbreaking. So in there were the seed phrase access to the Ledger. We believe he just went in, oh, thanks very much, and then used that to basically initiate all of the transfers. So Yeah.
So he's probably, I mean, obviously a skilled hacker, so he probably was able to just like type in whatever they do, because I'm not technical at all. He's probably able to just like search and find whatever folder he wanted and just open them all up and be like, oh, here it is.
But it's the interaction between what I did with clicking on the link, logging it, how did nothing flag up? I'm not pinning this
Yeah.
on Google. It's me. You know, the ultimate line of defense is you as a person. You have to be switched on, and I wasn't at that point for whatever reason. You know, it's a moment of complaint, a moment of a lax in, you know, a momentary lax in thinking. You know, it's weird seeing myself talk about it now. And when I did that video thing in the car, that was all like straight off the bat. I think it was more raw emotion, but weirdly, I was so in tune with what had happened, because it had only happened a day or two. That was the end of the week, I think I did that. It was on the Saturday, yeah, so it was about 4 or 5 days later. But yeah, he just accessed the folder in the drive, accessed the passphrases, and then the rest is, you know, the rest is plain sailing, really. You know, if you've got access to that, you've got access to everything. You know, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. And they weren't technically my keys, because I'd basically given them over to Google Drive. I'd like, here you go, here's my seed phrase, Google, just store that for me behind a really weak defense, which is what you would have thought was two-factor and mobile phone, you know, layer of security. But nothing flagged up. It just all happened all silently. So he must have put switches and flags to like suppress all of that. I got nothing to my phone. But yeah, the Keown guy from Samurai Wallet, he tracked it all to, I want to just go back to that, but he tracked it all to Binance. And then there were 3 separate Binance accounts, and you could see it was all sitting there. And he then withdrew into the nasty fiat world, withdrew all of that Bitcoin. And I think there's still some wallets. If you were to go and have a look on the blockchain and have a look now on the Explorer, there's still some Bitcoin sitting in some of those wallets. I mean, maybe not, but if you were to go and have a look, it's bizarre because it's all transparent, isn't it? So it's like, there's my Bitcoin and I can't get it back. It's one way, isn't it? So, you know, there's no do-overs.
So it's already basic. So the majority of it is basically just taken out in cash at this point.
Yeah.
Is there any, have they said that there's any possibility of retrieving that at all? Or is it, have you accepted that it's gone?
I'd lie if I said there isn't a really small amount, a percentage in me that, because it's not just me involved. I've engaged with the police. I've engaged with Action Fraud over here in the UK. I was on the phone to them for like hours the following day, and again, it was time is of the essence, but the essence part was missing from the whole equation. Never did anything on the Sunday. I was busy, life. And then never did anything on the Monday until I got home from work. Again, life. I was busy. I was working. And I was on the phone to Action Fraud for a few hours. They took all of the details, gave me several references. So funnily enough, today, before this podcast, before this meeting, I had an email from the detective constable or detective sergeant over here. The guy that's handling my account, I won't give his name. He said, sadly, no positive results. However, he did say there's like a small nugget of info that he's working on. And actually, just reminded me, I've got to email him over the references, which you'd think Action Fraud are meant to liaise with the police force. We live in like an archaic 1700s type UK over here. And I know we're going to probably speak about that, but well, how many hours have you got? But
I've got all afternoon.
It's so slow and stuff. Thank you. Your ears are going to be throbbing from my whinging and like, you know, stupidity. Anyway, I'm not stupid. I was targeted.
I do have a dumb question though.
No, go for it.
I have a Binance account, and honestly, I set it up so long ago I don't remember setting it up. But I have one. I have whatever, like $100 worth of shit coins on there. I don't even know. I barely look at it. But when you sign up for a Binance account, you have to KYC, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you know which, let's say 3 or 4 wallets are connected to this, is there not a way to reach out to Binance customer service and be like, who the fuck owns these wallets? Because this is theft. This is no longer
Yeah.
this isn't a
Oh, he's taken numbers from someone. No, he's stolen.
we're not trying to like expose someone, or we're not trying to do anything. No, this motherfucker with these 4 wallets
Yeah.
stole X amount of Bitcoin. Who owns these wallets and what is their name?
So, okay, so I mean, I've tried. It's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts to it. So I've tried. That's the bit I've just explained. The long part there was kind of the crux of it. But when I'd kind of calmed down, I inquired with Binance online. Again, it's like we're looking at it was like 10 o'clock at night by now, so it's an hour later. Right? I've inquired with Binance on their agent thing. I've also done the same with Coinbase. Coinbase were just like, yeah, you had a hot wallet. That's your fault, fella. Bye. So that was that, thanks. Binance side, they were a bit better because I now at this point had so what Keown had done, he provided me with a map of the Bitcoin movements, 2 spreadsheets, which were like very, very concise listings of like it was the stop saying like it was the transaction to here, from here to here to here to, it was like laid out in a really easy, like if you were to look at it, I'm not going to say the word like again.
It's all good.
And it was all listed in a way that you could read it if you were doing investigative work. So basically, it was like this perfect package of stuff. And
it's like a roadmap.
Yeah, and it would give anyone who was a detective an instant step up to a level where they can go, wow, someone's done all this work for me. Brilliant. So it was like a package, gift. So I sent it off to Binance. They used it. And then I got to the wall of no, which I knew was coming because I'm not law enforcement. It's not, I'm not like, give me the information now. Do you know who I am? They said, we can't give you that information. You need to get in touch with your local law enforcement. So, by now I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night. And I think it's already happened the day before. So he's probably already withdrawn it because I can't tell if that's happened. Which it's more likely. So anyway, where was I? So I've got this package of information from Keown, and again, Keown, if you happen to ever see this, legend. And if anyone wants to donate to Keown's donation fund to help support him in his DOJ defence, I would, from my heart to anyone else, please. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. The guy's a legend. Thank you. I'm only a pleb. I'm a nobody. So anyway, he created this package. I sent it off to the police. And anyway, it's going through the motions here, which is really slow. It's dreadfully slow. And I had the phone call today from Action Fraud as a follow-up as well. So it was weird. It all happened today. I had the follow-up and an email from the police. Action Fraud decided to tell me, well, those references we gave you? I was like, oh yeah, like a month ago? And I'm like, yeah, did you give them to the exchanges? I was like, I didn't know I was meant to. I got in touch with the police, and aren't you meant to hand that over to the police for the police to do all of that? Oh, am I putting on my policeman's cap now and doing all the work? Because that's how it goes, I don't know about in the US, but over here you have to do everything, and then you're like, well, what am I paying my taxes for? What is the point of the police over here? Basically, the level of things that happen for you to have to get the police out are literally you have to be dying or being stabbed or something like that. The low-level crime, they don't care. They don't want to know. I'm sorry. I'll probably get arrested after this goes out because they'll be listening to this. They'll wiretap everything. Digital IDs here. You get arrested for a tweet. I mean, this is beyond a tweet. This is me basically. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. A bit of frustration.
So essentially, the law enforcement they basically haven't done anything at this point.
I guess they have, but I gave them all the information. So I'm getting like, oh, well, I don't think that's going to be helpful. I don't think that's useful. And I'm like, but what is not useful? It tracks it all to these like accounts on Binance. Just contact Binance. And like you said, there's KYC involved here. There must be information. So this is the point I'm at now. So it's still ongoing. It's not like it's been under the carpet. So I've got to send
hope, dude. Oh. I have hope because
imagine.
Trump just pardoned CZ, as if you saw that.
Yeah.
So CZ is now maybe he's in a little bit of he owes Trump something, and then
He's
people
in a
are like,
pocket.
hey,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, CZ, bro, release whoever this douchebag is, yeah, and
Yeah.
let's send a couple FBI agents, Cash
I never thought.
Patel,
I never thought about that.
and
I should message
because
CZ directly.
is this international crime now? Can we send the FBI and just be, storm this dude's house? And can I come? Because I want to see. But
So,
yeah.
video record it. I don't know why I did that. That's like so old fashioned. Yeah, yeah. Live at this hacker's house. We're just swatting, busting in. I mean, we can laugh about it, but I mean, it's the only thing I've got left. Is the fun of doing the development stuff for this game I'm building, and just X in general, and all the madness that people have been putting out, and the thanks and the support. So we got this topic list, haven't we? But I'm pretty sure we've gone way off.
I don't even care.
No, yeah. I mean, it's structure.
But I don't even care if we follow it, because I mean, just having you share the story, I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I hear it. Like, my first interview I ever did for this podcast was with Jimmy, Bitcoin Jimmy. If you remember him, he was part of the Bitcoin army. He still is, but he's very inactive.
Was
because
he one of
he's in a
the first
lawsuit.
ones? Yeah.
He lost 8. He lost about 8 Bitcoin.
Oh man.
He got it stolen in a kind of similar way that you did, and he clicked on an app that he thought was an app for his wallet, and when he opened the app, he typed in his information and the app was fraudulent, and so he's in a lawsuit. I don't want to say too much, but I believe he's in a lawsuit with Apple, and he's trying to recover those funds still. Because it's all because of a stupid click.
It can gut you. It can, if you let it can absolutely rip your gut out and just leave it on the floor and leave you as a shell, because you feel like you've failed to just do the most basic security.
But it's not, because it can happen to anyone, and it can happen so fast. Like, I can't tell you. I was going to tell you about my feelings, but I'm like, well, why should I do that? Because you're the one going through this. I was just going to say, like, dude, if I lost my Bitcoin, like,
try and imagine.
That's my, all gone. I can't imagine, because that's literally my life savings. My wife and I, we keep our savings in Bitcoin. Like, we don't have a backup plan. Like, we have her 401k, but I'm like, everything else that we own is like in Bitcoin, and if that got lost, like, I'm gonna turn into Liam Neeson, and like, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you.
Not the Naked Gun version.
No, like
because he's funny in that.
No, I'm talking about from what's that, human whatever human trafficking movie that is, where he's like, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna kill you. That's what I'm gonna do, because that's my life, and so
I'm in that zone. And I mean, to be fair, and the things I could tell when you started to get like hot flush thinking about it, like hot, because so I suppose some of the things we probably want to talk about are, I guess, the means and ways of making sure you keep your Bitcoin where it is, so you've got your eyes on it at all times if you need to, and you could just be like touch it, like, oh yes, it's still there. I guess the people that have reached out to me are the Bitcoin Way and Microseed. Initially, they're the two entities that have reached out to me. So the Bitcoin Way have they said they're going to basically give me some training. They're going to send me a cold card queue. Pretty sure they're going to send me a start 9. A little bit of confusion over that at the moment, but I'm trying to work through it. But anyway, I think they're out of stock or something at the moment. So waiting on that. I've still got the as they call it, the CCQ in the packaging. I haven't even opened it. So I'm still in like damage mitigation mode. My Bitcoin is is minimal. Like I'm like in the 0.0 range now, which is is weird to say, but I'm like that's elsewhere. I mean, I have strike, I have a little bit in there. I sterling cost average instead of dollar cost average. I SCA, I guess in British term, every month, and then anything I get weekly, if there's anything that comes in, I'll put it in there.
But you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So tell me
Yeah.
about how you could prevent this. So someone that just listened to this, how can you move forward and prevent this from happening? Obviously, you said keep your seed phrase offline, but what else can you do?
So there's many things. One, don't store your seed phrase online. When you've got access to Bitcoin, so I don't know, some people might have got it through Strike, I don't know, Cash, whatever, any of these potential on-ramps. If you've got it from an exchange, I mean, you know, the age-old story, get it off the exchanges. It's not your Bitcoin unless you've got it on a cold store and you can like verify it. So I say write it down. I only said that initially because there's nothing wrong with that. You could write it down on a bit of paper. You're not digitally storing it. It's on a bit of paper. Everyone's maybe written it on a card. You get the card with the ledger. You know, it's got the 24 little lines where you write your seed phrase. So anyway, write it down on that. Whatever. Buy a ledger. Buy a cold card queue. Buy a Trezor. All these different systems to cold store your Bitcoin. I kind of skimmed through some there, and there are others available.
Yeah.
But basically, write it down initially, put that somewhere safe. Then, you know, if you get the money, go and purchase. So I'm going to, this isn't, you know, a shill, but so this leads me on to this perfectly. I bought a Keystone. So if no one's got one of these, this is what it looks like. It's a metallic credit card size like wallet, and it's got like several layers to it, and there's a middle layer which is where so frustrating. I had put my seed phrase on here. This is fireproof. This is fireproof, waterproof, you know, thermal, temperature, whatever. It's indestructible, essentially.
Okay.
And I put it on here. So this was like holy grail. Couldn't care less about the ledger technically. I was all good. What I hadn't have done, and I'll mention it now because it's come to mind. What I hadn't done is I hadn't deleted that folder called Family in my Google Drive. If I'd done that, maybe things would have been different. But I've now got a lump of metal with a seed phrase which is irrelevant. So I haven't even. So this is the first time I've got this out and looked at it. So with you, this is like weird touching this because what's in here is technically irrelevant. It's actually open. Anyway,
it's technically
even if anyone saw it
to an empty wallet.
Yeah, basically it is. Yeah, it is empty. So I can reuse that because you get plates with little digits that you can pop out and you can rearrange them. So it's not like a perma thing.
When I bought my ledger a couple years ago, they have different packages. When I bought my ledger, they have a package that I got a whole bunch of those types of things sent to me. And
good package.
Yeah, and then you can keep it in for UK. You guys can't have guns. I keep it in a fireproof gun safe.
Amazing.
That is, you know, next to my AR-15 and my shotgun and my handguns, except for the gun that I keep on me at all times.
I laugh because it's just so surreal. It's so surreal hearing someone say, "Yeah, I've got an AR-15 real, you know, handgun, shotgun." I mean, you can have them over here. I mean, but they have to. You know, I get the laws are strict in either country, every country. They have to be in like a proper lockup. You have to have obviously license for it. Someone comes and checks that it's being maintained. You know, it hasn't gone off, it hasn't gone rusty or whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
So anyway, once you get your seed phrase on this metal thing, you were saying what to do with it. So you get it on there.
Get it on there. I mean, you probably know anyway, but basically get it on here. And then once it's on here, I mean, technically this is kind of the weak link. you still need to make other. You need to have other layers of protection for this. So this should really be put in a. I mean, I would say put it in a safe, or even technically like split. I don't know what the right phrases is, but it's not even multi-sig. But split this phrase into several parts, and then maybe one first part of the phrase goes to, I don't know, your nan. The middle part section goes to your brother-in-law, and at least that way you've segmented and defragmented the whole thing. And then as long as you don't really ever need to use that phrase, you just keep buying Bitcoin and stash it and then move it to it. But this is like, as long as this phrase is not revealed publicly to anyone, you're all good. As far as I'm concerned, that is all you need. From the multi-sig point of view, I guess that's more of the application side, where you can obviously the Bitcoin Way, and I think the Bitcoin Advisor, and there's a few other entities. They do like multi-sig custodial services. Again, we could instantly talk about that, but you can Google these services. It's custodial services, but with an element of, they don't have full control. They'll have like one portion of the control, but then it's decentralized to you and then another entity. And like BitKey, I think, is it BitKey? That's the latest.
Yeah.
That's the latest craze for cold storage.
Yeah, that one's
I think.
been going around. Yeah, that one's been going around on X. I think because like Jack Dorsey tweeted about it or something. So
yeah, Jack's epic. I like Jack. I know he's got a bit of a checkered past. Haven't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving forward, where's your mindset at? Where you still obviously believe in Bitcoin. You're still, I mean, describe to me where you're at now, how you plan on moving forward, what mindset are you having moving forward, and what's keeping your conviction in Bitcoin even after having it stolen?
I've done so much research into Bitcoin that I've essentially crossed that threshold of I mean, this might ring true with you and listeners. Bitcoin for me is savings technology. I'm able to I am able to put in my weaker value of exchange of value, my money, my fiat, to kind of lock it into this system that I know for a fact, because it's verifiable, that it will track into the future and drag my my weak value store of value, money, fiat, straight into it will teleport it into the future, as long as I can maintain that journey and that path of resilience, I guess is how I see it. So your point where you said I'm still a believer in Bitcoin, okay, yeah, like yours as well. I went to get my hair cut the following week after that happened, and I spoke to my barber, Turkish barber.
Okay.
Anyway, lovely guy, and we get on really well. And I think anyone gets on. It's guys and their barbers. You can just chat shit, and they'll take it in, and they will offer advice. Yeah, it's part and parcel of their job. They're amazing, and he is amazing. He's a lovely guy. He'll never see this. I don't want to say never. Maybe he will. I was telling him, and it was like a therapy session. And I didn't give the amount. I don't like to talk money like in those terms. And I just said I had a large amount of Bitcoin stolen. And so unfortunately, he's got prior, thoughts on Bitcoin, and so he was like, "Oh, that's the reason why I don't get into Bitcoin." Blah 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 blah. It's too difficult to look at. I was like, "Well, actually, no, it's not. It's just like anything. There's always people out there trying to get something you have off of you. You just have to make sure you protect it. If you had a gold bar, you wouldn't just. I'm gonna just. Oh, look at this gold bar.
You wouldn't leave it in your car.
In my no.
Yeah.
You'd get it stored. You'd have it custodied in a vault. Whatever. You'd have it looked after properly. So the onus on Bitcoin is on you as a sovereign individual to self custody your own Bitcoin. So I tried to explain all it. Bearing in mind, it's almost like giving him an economic Austrian breakdown of bloody monetary policy, micro. And I was just like, dude, all I'm going to say is because he asked me the same question. Are you going to get back into Bitcoin? I was like, I'm still in. I never lost. I never left. The Bitcoin left me, but I never left Bitcoin. Once you're in, I think that's a good analogy. It just sucks you in. And I was trying to go back to my first point. I use it as a savings technology. I'm techie anyway. I think you gravitate to it, especially in IT, if you know computers or a little bit of tech. You just instantly. It is the pristine way of tracking wealth and value, like I say, across time. And it all unlocks over time. I mean, Jack Mahler's brilliant keynote at Bitcoin Atlantis, which made the penny stink drop for me. I don't know if you saw it. He speaks about, Bitcoin is locked in time because it's verifiable in advance. You can see it, but it's not accessible until that point in time, which is the whole proof of work. It's proof of work at that point, on that date, on that time, and you can then verifiably see it. It's there. And it's just mind-blowing. We know more about the Bitcoin blockchain than we do under the sea or in space. But that's good because we can verify this stuff. We know what's going to happen. And who doesn't want to know what's going to happen? I mean, that in itself is the monetary system we currently live in. I'm going on a right tangent now. The monetary system we live in is all based on trust and not verifiable. So, when stuff goes up and down, it's because no one knows. Sorry, I'm going real, but with Bitcoin, yes, there's other things that happen and affect it, sentiment and macro, blah, 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 but it's, I think that's the wrong way. But anyway, it's going up it's forever. I'm not even going to say her name, but it's going up forever. And it will, because it will attract everything. It's a bloody magnet. Oh my God. My conviction, that's where I'm at. That was a really long-winded way of getting there. But I love how you're reacting to it because I live and breathe it. And having it taken and swept away from me definitely gutted me. Like a fish, like a kipper. I was gutted. But I'll get back to it. And I mean, anyone who does watch Satoshi Not Gonna Make It, I think I've mentioned his name a few times prior to this. Lovely guy. I know his real name. I've never met him, but we're very, very similar in our fields of work. He reached out to me, and I mean, I must say, thank you to the people that have donated to me as well. I wasn't going to do it, but people just suggested as a way of recouping some sort of, I don't know, trying to smooth out the bumps of the emotions, put an address out and say, I'm accepting donations. Look, no one has to, I'm a nobody, but it's definitely helped. God, that was a real tangent.
Maybe the wife puts the wife at ease a little bit too.
Yes.
It's
because I showed her and she was like, oh my God, all these random anons are giving us because they felt sorry for us. They felt sorry for me. And, legitimately, I didn't need to have any of that. It's just that is proof that the community around Bitcoin it can be toxic, but by and large, everyone in Bitcoin is for the same thing. They want everyone to do well. I want my neighbor to do. I'd love to chew their heads off about Bitcoin and go, look, let me zap you some Bitcoin. I want to get you involved. Just the fact that I'm talking.
Glad you didn't lose hope.
No,
I'm glad you didn't lose hope.
No, thank you.
Because I feel like most people, obviously, no one has this kind of conviction in the United States dollar. We're not oh, I love the US dollar. It's you get robbed and you're fuck these people, but you're not oh, the US dollar gives me hope. The US,
yeah.
There's not a group of people out there that are man, we're all part of this US dollar economy. We love it. We're a community, but the Bitcoin community comes together and it's I'm glad they rallied for you. That's good to know.
I think there used to be, the thing is, they probably, under the veil of deceit, there was conviction in the dollar. Of course, there had to have been at some point, because it wouldn't have been able to get as prevalent as it is. Obviously, lots of shady deals, lots of especially when they went to the Middle East and they did the petrodollar deal, yada yada yada. It perpetuated the dollar around the world. Anyway, not going to get into that. I'm sure we've all read the books, but there probably was conviction in the dollar, but that's whoop, we've now got something that is by and immensely, much more superior. It's basically it's like black and white. There is nothing. Peter Schiff. I mean, dude. Oh my God. I'm changing the subject here. Dude, stop posting stupid posts. It's bait. It's engagement. And anyone who, like, my God, that guy. Yes, gold is good. It was. Oh my God. How do you not understand the technicalities behind Bitcoin? You've been around for so long.
100%. I'm 100% convinced he understands. He owns Bitcoin. He's been buying. He's a rage baiter these days.
Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, he almost got me raged just then. But no, touche. Yeah. Anyways, I'd said this to Stacey. I go off on massive tangents. I think I'm a little bit autistic in some respects because I'm literally like pow pow pow, things fire off, and before I know it, I've started spouting rubbish about.
We're all
this
like
and that.
Yeah, we're all like 80 IQ, autistic,
Yeah, in a good way.
So
obviously.
what are you gonna do moving forward? Now that we've heard it, you still have your conviction. I still actually have hope that they can find this guy. I don't know why, but I have this hope. But anyway, what are you gonna do? Moving forward. How's your mindset with that?
Yeah. So the moving forward part is important. I mean, really important. I mean, I wouldn't be here talking about it with you if I wasn't trying to move forward. And I don't want to drag this out. It's not like a dead donkey. I don't want to keep kicking the tires. And then I pop up in like 6 months' time going, oh yeah, I lost 0.5 Bitcoin. No, I've got to move on. And I said it earlier in maybe not the eloquent way. It is only money. But I've got family. I've got a life. There are other things, and my family, my family in general, there's other things happening privately, like my brother, he's really going for a shit deal of it at the moment. But we've all got this resilience, and I don't know if it's like you've ever seen the meme where it's like, just put the kettle on, make a cup of tea and carry on. It's just, smile and carry on, the stiff upper lip, we do. I don't know what it is. It's like a genetic grown into us from birth. We just get on with stuff. If you wallow, it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do family members any good. And also I'm not the alpha of the fact. I'm the man, if you want to go back to like stereotypical outdated themes. I have people look up to me. I have my daughter look up to me. If you've got a family, you need to be strong-willed. You need to have a good mindset. Your mental health. I mean, this could have, if it wasn't me and it was someone else that doesn't have a very strong mental mindset, I don't know what to think. Action Fraud, when I was on the phone, they said to me, and I just dismissed it, but they said to me, do you want us to send you any material for your they didn't say for your mental health. Have you got a good support network? And I feel that I've kind of like this, speaking with you, like my wife, my mum, my dad, my brother. I feel like I'm leaning into those hard points in the family that I know I can trust and that I can speak to them freely, and I'm not going to get any. They're not going to ridicule me or have assumptions and things like that. And I'll be honest, this is so technical for some of them. They're just they just glaze over. So it's kind of good. I can just, like the barber, like blah, 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 and he's like, oh yeah, great. Well, I'm not buying Bitcoin because that sounds really complicated. But I'm like, no, dude, look, watch, Anyway, yeah, I'm moving forward by doing these things, and I think eventually it will kind of plateau out, and hopefully, I've got some things in the pipeline that hopefully will flip things on its head, and I'll be able to come out the other side of this much better. Time is a healer. No one wants to hear that. It's a cliche, but it's true. Time is a healer. And if you want to get all philosophical, if you invest in Bitcoin will heal you in time, because it pulls you out of all the shit and it delivers you to a point in time in the future. Maybe not you, but your descendants. They'll look back and they'll go, you were a fucking legend. You bought Bitcoin. So, I've got to be. I've got to look past it. And hearing that you had people that have lost 8 Bitcoin, Rick with his 25 Bitcoin. Look, there's many people that have lost hundreds of Bitcoin, and they just crack on. So why can't I?
Well, I don't know if they just crack on. I mean, shit, dude. If I lost half a Bitcoin, I'd be pretty pissed. But no, at least you're strong about it.
Yeah.
At least I can tell you're not like mentally like completely like depressed and
Gone.
broken, which is a good sign. um,
Yeah. I have
no,
moments, and you do. I'll be in the car and we'll be, I don't know, driving somewhere. I won't be driving, but I mean, I do drive. And this is another funniest thing. So that happened a month ago. My car engine blew up last week. So this isn't like a sob story, but this stuff happens. And we joke saying things happen in threes. Well, the third has happened indirectly, and I can't talk about it, but, Bitcoin stolen, cars blown up. I've just had to pay out of my minimal savings, and I'll be honest, I've had to dip into the fiat bank account, so I don't feel too bad, to buy a new car engine that has now got to be fitted. So anyway, sorry, life story.
well, so moving for what advice do you have for people who hear this and they're like, I definitely don't want that to happen to me. I mean, just moving forward, what kind of
Yeah.
things could you say to them? I don't know.
If you were moving forward and you're coming out of a situation like I was in, I just make sure you've got a good support network. If you haven't, there are facilities. I mean, this more UK side, but there are facilities you can reach out to. There are services you can call, things like that. I'm probably more leaning on the mental health side, but practicality, get out. Don't sit behind the computer. Don't stare into your phone. Get out. Go for a walk. Go for a run. If you've got no legs, I don't know, get out. Do something. Just get out into the. As you've probably already noticed, I'm a bit kooky. But you need to just do something. You need to anything the opposite of whatever you're doing. You need to just get out there. Get on the phone. Phone someone. But moving forward from a financial perspective, just carry on. Just start buying again. Set up those automatic purchases. Let that all handle it all for you. And before you know it, I mean, Rick Messett has said this to me a couple of times. He still gets in touch. He's a lovely guy, man. I need to go for a beer with him. He said, dare I say, in a year's a long time, but he said in a year, you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, things change. Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry if there's no real practical things mentioned there, but it is just time, I think, ultimately.
Yeah. And I'll add in there, I think people should honestly treat Bitcoin almost like your life depends on it. Because it kind of does. And it's not something to be like taken lightly. If you're storing your future wealth in it, if you're storing your life savings in it, take the time to learn
Yeah.
about it, learn about security, and do the things that Cookie recommended. Put it on the metal sheet and hide it in a safe, and don't click on links and don't store it online. But
Yeah, it's true.
anything else
I mean, they're
that
the
you
basic
wanted to
things.
say? Anything else that you wanted to say about that story? Did you want to move on to some optimistic things?
I genuinely think we should probably move on to more optimistic things. I think we were kind of I was edging it out that way, but
Okay.
I think if I was to keep harping on about it, just don't store it digitally. There's going to be people listening to this, and I guarantee you that have got it digitally stored somewhere in a text document somewhere. Trust me, I work in trust me. That's the worst thing you could say, isn't it, to a Bitcoiner? Look, verify yourself. If you've got it written down in a text document, that is a weak point. Get it off, write it down, stick it on hardware, stick it on a metal, go invest in a microseed washer kit, which has been sent. Thank you, Robin, guys at the microseed team. I'm going to be doing it. I'm waiting for my Start 9 server. And then once I can get that all configured and I've gone through some additional training, look up UTXO management. So once you've done your security part of Bitcoin and you're satisfied with that, start playing around with doing some transactions, send it from wallet to wallet. Because obviously there's going to be a point, I don't know about you, but I had to move big chunks of Bitcoin. Oh my God, that is the most squeakiest bum moment. Is it
It's
not?
so scary.
So you have to
I
do a
hate
little
it.
bit first. Yeah, do a little bit first, which is, now I know you do a little bit first, then you do the big piece. But in that capacity, I mean, I'd assume you're buying maybe on the exchange and then moving it to cold storage. Whatever your on-ramps are, just make sure you're, eyes open. It's not digitally stored, that you're like checking the beginning and the end of the addresses. Make sure that when you paste it in, you're pasting it in clean. You're not pasting it somewhere else, then sending it to yourself. I know it can be awkward, but just take your time. Like you said, it's the most valuable asset that you could possibly own. And I'm telling you, if this video or all these other videos and all the podcasts that you see, if they're about in 10 years' time, we'll all look back at this and we'll all be like, we were right all along, as we have been. Just take the time. Take the time to look after it. Do it slowly. Don't do it with haste.
Yes, no, I agree. Well, I mean, so now that you lost your Bitcoin, I can only assume you're waiting for a massive dip so you can buy the dip.
I am living a lot of the memes at the moment, so I'm hoping for the roller coaster down, and I'm hoping for it to go below 10K, which isn't. Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? Probably not. You can.
I don't know if we'll see under 10K. That would be below 2 cycles ago.
Yeah, and that would be reliving the meme. Do you remember the meme where it had like oh God, I think I remember seeing one with it had Wolverine and he's got the photo frame and he's looking and he's got his hand on it. And someone put 10K. It's like I'm literally living that right now. Yeah, I don't think we're getting that low. I don't know. Are we sort of hovering it or moving into like price action, I guess?
Yeah. I was gonna see how you're feeling about the cycles, sentiment, price action recently. Anything, I like to speculate. I love, stirring things on X. I always post, the bullish shit, and then I love to post like, oh, we're over, and yeah.
Is this the most, what was it you put most recently? Like, I think a couple of hours ago, is this the most bullish, bearish market or something? And then you reposted it and put, yeah, definitely. I was just like, that was so good. That's exactly how I feel. Are we crabbing? I guess we are. The last time I looked was a little earlier. I mean, what are we at the moment?
So like 115K or whatever.
It wouldn't be a podcast.
113?
It wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't look. 113. Oh, it's dipped a little. Oh, it's a dip, France. Went to 116 because I've got it in dollars. Went to 116, didn't it? I think a little earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, we're literally, it's like, it's the roller coaster meme. That's all we're doing right now.
It's the collective. It's the collective buys and sells, puts and calls and whatnot of just the greater world all coming into Bitcoin, and it's like hitting it from both sides. You've got your pessimists and your optimists and all that jazz. Sentiment traders. Christ, I don't do any of that. I don't trade. I just buy it. I don't know how to trade. Christ.
Yeah. All right. So then we don't have to talk about price and all that jazz because we're on the same